We got this one here from Jeremy. Says, back in the early 90s, I lived with a friend at his mom's house. I lived there immediately after getting out of school, working as parts delivery driver. There was my friend, his brother, his sister, and his mom. Pretty nasty house. They had moved up to Section 8 squalor, and the mother's mom ended up ultimately buying a house out of the ghetto for them to live in. This is far back. I'm going way back to, say, 1999. My friend and I had known for a long period of time, since the early 90s, that she was a user and a taker, like jumping up and down physically on my torque wrench to break his brother's axle nut loose, using my clothing as his own personal sock rags.
Ooh. Oh, no, that's not good at all.
Any of my tools or anything that had disappeared, I'd go look through his stuff and find my stuff. And then the respect coming from him did not translate into the actual respect I was sending in his direction. So we're not getting a tit for tat thing here going on with respect. And that's not good. Now with that, I set the scene. I had a 67 Camaro. He had an 86 Camaro with the V6 in it. He had his spare key pushed in his car out to the street. Oh, wait. Hang on. It's hard to read these lines. There we go. He pampered his car. He loved his car. He kept pushing at me one day. The place where he was working was one street away from where I worked, and had his spare key pushed in his car out in the street and put a sign on it for $500 or best offer. Inquire inside.
Nice.
Kind of ruffled his feathers a bit. It did not get the desired effect. On the day in question, it was early morning before it got hot in the house because they had a swamp cooler, and I'm going to say 7:30 in the morning. Me and his brother were talking about his brother is younger than he is by maybe 5 years. His brother keeps looking at me, saying, I wouldn't let that stuff fly. I'll look him dead in the eyes and say, I don't think your brother can handle what I can dish out. Okay, fine. Maybe I'll even feel better in the end. I'll go look for my secret stash that nobody can find. I come home walking back into the house with a triple stack of waterproof M500s. I will not disclose how I doctored these. I will just make the remark, I'm Northern Irish.
All right.
This gentleman's little brother looks at me and says, oh, crap. Well, maybe we shouldn't do this. Now you've already got the ball rolling. My friend's door is not on the hinges. I don't remember why, but I had his brother crack the door open just a little bit, which is easy to make no sound when the door is off the hinges. I have a 5-gallon pot. I light off the goodies, and we both jumped back to the opposite ends of the hall, and I yelled at the top of my lungs, report! You hear somebody mutter, what? It was a deafening explosion that shook most of the house, if not all the house.
Nice.
Fred comes stumbling out of the room wearing only boxers, slams into the wall across the hall like a fish that got dynamited in Crocodile Dundee.
Nice.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have girls screaming in the house as he stumbles towards his keys to get out the front door and into his car and disappear for a week. At the first point, me and him ended up talking. I told him his tab is paid in full, and I suggest not putting anything else on his tab. It took me a little while thinking of pranks to remember this one. It was a long time ago. This one is from Andreas Christian. His title is Pranks, Punani, and Pringles Cans.
Well, this can't go bad at all.
No.
I figured since we'll go with the Pringles can story here. That one's a little bit shorter than the rest.
All right.
Balls for the Bullies, the title. When I was 13, I got sent to a special Catholic school. The vast majority of the school used to be exclusively female Catholic school up to 2 years prior. There was a lot of cheek there, and of course, bullies too. One fat fatso named Miguel Martin, who we called M&Ms, was the worst. He was always eating Pringles, and teachers told him to stop eating and stop bullying people. Fun.
Yeah.
He was nasty and got physical. Not with me, but it was not with me, but it was usually name calling. So my friends and I devised a plan: collect all the metal Pringles tubes we could find and fill them with BB gun pellets, which will Pringles cans pick if the Pringles. Goddamn, I cannot read today. Which will, if the Pringles can is picked up, spill all over. Now, one or two BB gun pellets, no biggie. A whole Pringles can getting loose, oh boy, you would be slipping and sliding all over the place.
Yes, you would.
Nice.
Great plan, hard to do. We spent a week collecting the metal Pringles cans that we could. Then we hit a snag: how to release them when they're all picked up or knocked over. Well, James, my closest friend, had an older brother named Tony, who was in his last year getting his master's in engineering.
Excellent.
Yes, bringing in the evil genius.
Yes.
He walked over and said, "So I hear you want to pull a prank on Fat Boy Slump. I am in."
Very good.
He rigged all the cans. I believe it was 40 of them.
40.
It was 40.
Wow.
Jesus.
God damn, that's awesome.
That's a lot of Pringles.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of babies, yeah.
It was kind of like the principle of the grenade. I can't remember correctly how it went, but we could place them. But as soon as we pulled the pins on it, it was primed, so to speak. So we had to be careful. We got detention so we could stay behind. That was
It's not hard to get detention.
Yeah,
No.
that was for not making our homework. But the nun who was ordered to do the detention was cool and just told us to sweep the hallways. She remained in the office. We hauled ass to set everything up for Monday morning when M&M would open up his locker door. The day arrived and it was glorious. He opened his locker door and we thought he was going to pass out. It were Pringles cans after all. He immediately grabbed one and out came the BB pellets like a bat from hell from the underside of the can. They rolled everywhere, but M&M wouldn't understand. He had to have his Pringles.
Oh, no.
Out came another and another. A lot of kids were giggling and laughing. Then the old crone nun, everyone hated her. She hated all the kids, but she especially hated Fatso Miguel. There's usually always that one old nun that hates everything.
Yeah.
She screeched, which startled him, made him fumble and slip over the round BB pellets, making the towers fall and spraying all the BBs everywhere.
Good
She tried to get after him, but he shuffled away while the old crone was going bonker, swinging her cane left and right. Then the headmistress came.
Oh, yeah.
And thought it was the old nun's fault at first. M&M got into a heap of trouble and later, after winter holidays, was not seen anymore. The year after the schools melted together with an all-boys school, which was super elite, waiting lists and all, except if you were already a student or a Catholic school. So all of us, me and my friends, transferred there, and it was great. Besides, all the boys' Catholic school was located inside the city. The schoolgirls was out in the woods, attached to the nunnery.
Yeah, that's where it should be.
Yes.
Because the girls today do stupid shit. They need to have nuns on standby to keep that from happening.
Yes.
So that was like a classic prank on a bully in school.
I still want to know how the engineer did it to where they would just open. Did it explain that or no?
Nope.
Nah.
Dang it.
This one is titled, "We Played with a Bazooka." Okay.
Yeah, I've done that too. That's
fun. It says, I was 12, together with James, Mick, Phil, Dean, and Danny. We had a load of fireworks over, so we decided to play soldier in the huge field around Dean's house. We had some special under the label in illegal rocket fireworks. They were first prohibited, so only 18 and older could buy them, and later got banned altogether. So, I wonder why they got banned.
Listen, I used to do the same shit. We'd have bottle rocket wars. It was glorious.
It's all fun and games until someone has one explode in their face. Ask me how I know. So there we were, firing from the left over pipe pieces. We were near the old farmer who would beat trespassers with a club. He wasn't fast. He hobbled more, which was funny as fuck to see. He busted up some cars pretty good that were parked near his property, but the cops couldn't or wouldn't do anything. So he was the great evil one there. So Dean betted me a bag of cola sweets that I wouldn't dare shoot at the guy's house with the bazooka in quotes, and the others made different bets.
Hold my beer. I hear it coming.
hold my Coke. You got to remember he's 12 years old at the time. If I pulled off all the bets, I would have 5 bags of cola sweets and a silver coin from Danny. He was the oldest. But to win it, the rocket had to go into the chimney.
All right.
Now, yeah.
Now we're talking. I said, I'm going for it. Load me up.
Oh, no.
Well, it shot off with an eerie whee. Then it flew left, and then right, and then up, and then it fell right down into the chimney.
That's one.
Everyone was dumbfounded, gawking in disbelief what happened. Then
That's
suddenly a boom, a lot of cursing, and full of soot, and nearly head to toe old geezer with his billy club came out. It's quite the vivid picture there. Right. Luckily we had already dropped back into the ditch. We were just peeking over the ditch, which we had a hedgerow on it, so we were looking between the ground and the underside of the hedge. He couldn't see us, so after 2 minutes of cursing, he called the cops. They bombed my house. Yes, my house, I tell you. He was shouting. Cops hung up. Him cursing again and calling the cops for a second time.
Oh, shit.
They bombed my house.
We got out of there as stealthily as we could, possibly, because when we reached the forest and the orchard, Danny's parents owned both. The cops were there with 4 police cars. We saw them look into the ditch where we previously were, but didn't find anything. We stood on the bank and the hedge was up to our chin, and I shot from there. We could hear what was going on real good. Old evil fart was screaming about kids, and his face was as black as coals, but his teeth were white. One of the officers took his club away, which he didn't like, and started something with the cops and got arrested.
Oh, shit. Whoops.
Got arrested.
It says, finish it off here. Firefighters came, and instead of telling that they found parts of a firework, they were saying that the chimney was clogged and a gust of wind dislodged the soot, which fell down and cascaded. He got cited for not cleaning his chimney.
Nice.
Oh, brilliant. That is a great way to end that.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Popp for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.